On the 88th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast, we're going to be talking about my experience watching the Savannah Bananas. We have some MLB news. We're going to be talking about the NFL Combine, ranking the top 5 most viral LeBron memes, and ending it off with some Hall of Fame yay or nay. Make sure you use code HatTrick Sports. We're checking it out at w.gg for 10% off your order. Roll it! Welcome to HatTrick Sports, starring your host, Isaiah Carpenter. Bringing you the biggest sports headlines every week. This is the HatTrick Sports Podcast. So let's start it off here first, talking about the Savannah Bananas. Now, up until yesterday, I have not watched a whole lot of Savannah Bananas. I knew that it was like this kind of circus baseball kind of show thing. I've never watched a full game. I've seen a few innings. I've obviously seen tons of clips on TikTok. But yesterday, or I guess I should say last Saturday, I watched the Savannah Bananas for the first time ever, and it was an experience. It was wild to watch. The game itself is only like half of the whole event. They had events starting in the morning. I got there like when gates opened, but like all throughout the morning and afternoon, they had events going on. The game started at 7, got in the gates, and as soon as like gates opened, the entertainment stuff kind of started. There's a whole bunch of stuff. They sold out Lone Depot Park, which is where the Marlins play. They sold that out. Now, in the top sections of Lone Depot Park, during the MLB regular season, nobody's even allowed up there. They don't sell tickets up there, and nobody's just allowed up there. And it was all sold out. Even up there, I mean, nosebleeds, the very, very top of the stadium, sold out. Everything was just sold out. You have to get into a lottery to get these tickets. And it was wild. So the entertainment started right when we walked in the door. They have like this princess called Princess Potassium because of like bananas and stuff. The cheerleaders have like big beer bellies. Like it's dudes. It's grown dudes with like skirts on and stuff. It's wild. I did warming up. I got to meet Pete Holden, who's a high school alumni. It was cool to get to see him. Got a picture with him and stuff like that. They like crowned princesses. They had the first peel instead of like first pitch. They had this like 5-year-old walk out peeling a banana. It was just wild. It was all part of the entertainment, and that was before the actual game started. And it's a regular 9-inning game, except each inning it's like its own point. So there's no runs. It's just points. And if you get the most amount of runs that inning, you get a point. So you can see 9 walk-offs. Now, there were walk-offs in each inning. Like the first inning, there was a walk-off. It was wild to see. And then it went down to this thing called the showdown, which I guess if it's tied after 9 innings or the 2-hour time limit hits, that's a big thing. They fit 9 innings of this baseball in 2 hours. It was wild. Each pitch, like the first half inning was less than 3 minutes. It was like 2 minutes, 40 seconds. They just throw the ball. It's very much like a hitter's game. There's only maybe 3 strikeouts, tons of like flyouts and stuff like that. They have all these rules. It's a ton of stuff I could talk about. The Bananas have like these different rules. So like if they're happened a few times, if a fan catches the ball, it's an out. They got to go onto the field, whatever. It's just wild. No new inning after 2 hours, but they got done with the whole game before the 2-hour mark. Well, they got into the 9th inning before the 2 hours, so it was the last inning either way. Then it went down to the showdown, and the showdown was kind of interesting. There was a catcher, a pitcher, and a fielder, and the batter has to hit an inside the park home run. Again, it's an MLB stadium. It's not that hard. The fielder was like right in front of second base, so if you hit it in the outfield, you're pretty much good. So it went down to a few of those showdowns, and then eventually, like they took away the fielder, and then it was just the pitcher and catcher, and the pitcher struck out the party animals won at the game I went to. They struck out the Bananas after hitting the go ahead. Or not to go ahead, the inside the park home run. So they ended up winning. It was wild. Everything's like related to Bananas. It's not really baseball. Like it's baseball. The fundamentals, the game itself is baseball. It's just wild. Like it's so hard to explain like what all happened. Like I said, the game's only like half of the entertainment. It's like a circus. It's literally like a baseball circus. The founder of the whole like league and stuff wearing a yellow tuxedo. Playing Yellow by Coldplay in like the 9th inning, that was kind of cool. And it was just like yellow because of the yellow bananas. It was wild. What else do I got? Oh, it was also really cool because that was the first time I was at Lone Depot Park since Shohei Ohtani hit his 50-50 game, his 50-50 home run. And I got to kind of sit there was like a time where I was like sitting where I was sitting when that happened. I got to go and kind of see where that 50-50 ball was hit, and that was really cool, especially as like a Dodgers fan. Being able to witness that, it was 163 days after. It was really cool to experience, kind of like seeing that after the fact, because that was just a wild day for me. When Shohei hit the 50-50 home run, that was wild. So it was cool to kind of see that. Yeah, like I said, shout out Pete Holden, pitcher and first baseman for the Party Animals. And before the game even happened, like, they were throwing bananas from hundreds of feet up in the air and just catching them in their pants. It's just wild stuff like that they do pregame. I don't really know how to explain. There's nothing really to compare it to. Yeah, like I said, very much a hitter's game. Party Animals won, and in the showdown, it's just a wild experience overall. Oh man, I forgot to email myself that. That sucks. One second, I'm gonna try to look up something that I was gonna talk about, but that was basically my whole experience watching Savannah Bananas. Wild experience overall, just wild experience. And yeah, let me look up if I could find what I forgot to send myself it. We were gonna talk about all the Marlins traded players. That's what it was. Let me see if I could pull that graphic back up. I had it. So the Marlins are very notorious for, after Jose Fernandez unfortunately passed away, I believe it was 2016, 2015, they had a whole bunch of guys. And it's not exactly what it was. But yeah, this is basically an all-star team of just players that have been traded by the Miami Marlins. Now, all these guys played with the Marlins at one point, but they got traded away to somebody else or to whatever. So you have JT Realmuto. Again, that Jose Fernandez thing, I think that kind of drew a lot of people, or the front office kind of away. Like, the team just wasn't the same after that. But remember, you had Christian Yelich, you had Giancarlo Stanton, you had JT Realmuto, Josh Naylor, Luis Arias. You had all these guys for the Marlins at one point, and they just kind of traded it away. I want to say it was right before Jeter kind of bought into some of the Marlins. But you had Jazz Chisholm Jr., Marcelo Ozuna, these guys, Starling Marte, Christian Yelich, like I said, Giancarlo Stanton. You had Pablo Lopez, Zach Gallen, Nathan Eovaldi, Michael King. All these guys were on the Marlins at one point. Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia, Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puck, Andrew Heaney, Austin Barnes, Josh Bell, Adam Duvall, Jake Berger. All of these guys were on the Marlins at one point, and they just kind of traded it away. Like, the Marlins were, if they still had a team like this, they would, this was like an all-star team. They would win. I think that they would win a World Series with this team. I just don't understand what really went wrong. I think it was when, like, ownership and stuff kind of, I think it all has to do with, like, Jose Fernandez. Jose Fernandez died, then the team just never was the same. They traded everybody off. Now, I'm not saying it's a direct correlation, but I just think that it's interesting. After Jose Fernandez died, all these guys just kind of went away. Now, Jazz Chisholm Jr. obviously didn't make his debut till 2018, 2019, maybe even 2020. But yeah, I mean, think about Yelich, Stanton, Realmuto, all these guys, Ozuna, were on the same team. It's just wild to think about now that all these guys were on the same team and they just didn't ever do anything with it. But I thought I would bring that up. I was thinking about the Marlins, and I noticed this graphic. It's just wild. It's wild. Yeah. Here's something interesting. Let me see if I could go to the tab. Let me look over here. All right, yeah. Who do you think will be the first ever MLB player that signs a $1 billion contract? On the latest episode of La UCA, Deportes, Barga said that he believes that Ellie De La Cruz will become the first $1 billion contract in MLB history. Now, that's actually not a horrible guess from what we know now. Now, could be some studs coming up like that. But you got to think about Ellie De La Cruz has a few years before he's eligible for unrestricted free agency, and that's kind of what you have to look at, because the $1 billion contract is going to come most likely in our lifetimes. If you're under the age of 70, I would say a $1 billion contract is going to become a thing in the MLB probably in your lifetime. Let's be honest. Who will that be? So Ellie De La Cruz, he has a few years before he's a free agent again. And we've seen Ohtani and we've seen Soto. Those are the only two guys that have $700 or more $1 million contracts. And Ellie De La Cruz isn't a bad guess. He has high potential. He's young. He's good. He's good talent. And he has a few more years until, because again, it's going to be a few years. But if you think about the highest, one second, let's look up the biggest contract in MLB in 2015, 10 years ago. Here we go. No. I'm looking for like a 20. So, all right. So for comparison, the biggest contract right now is Juan Soto's $765 million for 12 years or 15 years or whatever that the Mets signed him. 10 years ago in 2015, the biggest contract was Giancarlo Stanton, and he signed a 13-year, $325 million contract with the Marlins. So if you think about it, 10 years ago, it doubled. It doubled. The biggest contract doubled. So in 10 years, are we going to get a $1.4 billion MLB contract? I don't think it'll go up that high, but definitely in the next 5 or so years, we will see an MLB player get a $1 billion contract. I don't think it'll be Ellie De La Cruz, but I think that there might be a young stud that just kind of comes out, and he's just gonna be that guy. He's gonna be like a Bryce Harper. It's got to be like a Bryce Harper or something. Obviously, Bryce Harper is signed with the Phillies forever, but it's got to be like a skill set, kind of like Bryce Harper, where he's not gonna like fade out. He's not gonna crash at one point. He's not going to be like the highest and then low. It's going to be a very consistent, very, very good player. And I just don't see Ellie De La Cruz being that guy. But Ellie De La Cruz isn't a horrible guess. So that's just my thoughts. But it is weird to think about. In the next few years, we're going to have a $1 billion contract. And it's just wild to think about. You cannot comprehend $1 billion. No matter who you are, unless you're a billionaire, you cannot comprehend $1 billion and what you can do with that kind of money. Rob Manfred is considering a petition, Rob Manfred is considering a petition filed on January 8th by Pete Rose's family to have Major League Baseball's all-time hit leader, Pete Rose, removed from baseball's ineligible list because he was gambling on baseball. That's the main reason why he's ineligible to be in the MLB Hall of Fame. Now, obviously, Pete Rose died a few months ago, and I don't really like that. If you're gonna put him in the Hall of Fame, do it while he's alive, first of all. And I personally don't think that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, skill set, yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Most hits. He was on steroids and stuff, but whatever. Yeah, just not a good guy. You do not want Pete Rose to be associated with the MLB. He was a horrible person. He was a great baseball player, horrible person. Betting on baseball, doing a whole bunch of illegal stuff. Just not a good guy that you want affiliated with the MLB. So Rob Manfred has to keep that into account. And then number 2, you can't just give guys ways into the Hall of Fame just because they're dead. Everybody's going to die eventually. Let's be honest. You're going to die. I'm going to die. Everybody's going to die eventually. We shouldn't get more power. We shouldn't be thought of higher because we're dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's going to die eventually. It's not just Pete Rose that died. So I just don't like that giving them that. And this isn't saying that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. This is saying that he would be eligible to become to be in the Hall of Fame. But Rob Manfred is, I guess, considering this. He talked to some lawyers and stuff prior to the death, and his family, Pete Rose's family, and his family said that the commissioner was respectful, gracious, and actively participated in productive discussions regarding removing Rose from the ineligible list. That's what his lawyer said in the 1-hour meeting at the commissioner's office. The lawyer also said that he's seeking Rose's removal from MLB's ban list for betting on baseball so that we could seek induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which has long been desired. Whatever. He bet for himself. He bet for himself to win. He didn't bet against himself or against his team. I understand that part. Still not legal. Still did some awful stuff in his life and is still not a good person, and you do not want that guy in MLB's Hall of Fame. My opinion, it's a nay for me in the Hall of Fame. We've done Hall of Fame yay or nay with him. It's just a nay. And just because he died, he shouldn't be eligible to be in the Hall of Fame. The Dodgers, speaking of billion-dollar contracts and money and stuff, the Dodgers have officially hit over $1 billion in deferred payments to 8 players from 2028 to 2046. It's not going to be a fun time to be a Dodgers fan in the 30s just because we're not going to have anybody because we're paying everybody. Sure, the value of the dollar is going to go down, and it's going to be basically $600 million in money art and deferred money art time. It's just a whole lot to think about. But the Los Angeles Dodgers owe $1.051 billion in deferred pay to 8 players from 2028 to 46, following Tanner Scott's $72 million 4-year contract and Teoscar Hernandez $66 million 3-year deal. Now, the reason why I'm talking about it now is because it's official. All the contracts have come out. And all the contract details, I guess I should say, have come out at this time. The Los Angeles highest payment point is $100.95 million in both 2038 and 39, according to details obtained by the AP. Major League Baseball proposed during collective bargaining on June 21st, 2021 to put an end to the practice, but the Players Association rejected the change because they want to get paid, obviously, but they want to get paid after their career so that when they are playing, they want to win. They want money to go elsewhere. So it makes sense. It says the Dodgers have gone out and done everything possible. Basically, Rob Manfred said last week that he thinks that the Dodgers are doing good things. They're doing everything legal. They're doing everything right. They're just trying to win, which I completely agree with. But yeah. Hernandez is owed a total of $32 million in deferred payments from the team. He already was due $8.5 million as part of his $23.5 million 1-year deal for 2024 to be paid in 10 equal installments each July 1st from 2030 to 2039. $1 billion is a lot of money that the Dodgers got to pay, and that's all this is basically about. Shohei Ohtani has $680 million in deferred payments. It's just going to happen. It's a lot of money. It's not going to be fun being a Dodgers fan in 5 to 15 years, 5 to 20 years, but hopefully we can find a way to just keep deferring the money until the franchise is no longer a thing, let's be honest. But yeah, that is some Dodgers deferred money news. Let's move on to the top 5 most viral LeBron James moments. No, let's call that memes. Let's move on to the top 5 LeBron. Oh man, my bad. Let's move on to the top 5 most viral LeBron memes. All right, at number 5, you have the iconic smile. He's just got a big old grin and big old cheeks. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'll pop a picture up here. That is at number 5. At number 4, it is during the bubble season, I want to say. It's that's our ball. That's our ball. That's our ball. And then the big meme was how do you say tree in Spanish? Our ball. And it's number 4. It's number 4. It's not the greatest one, but it is a very iconic LeBron meme. At number 3, probably the most recent LeBron James meme you have is boom, where he's singing the song. Again, I'll pop a clip up of it right now. That is at number 3. It makes podium. At number 2, this was probably the biggest LeBron meme that has ever happened. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. I mean, you had fans in the crowds saying that all over social media last year, 2 years ago. It was just all over social media. And then the number 1 best LeBron James meme it's Taco Tuesday. Absolutely love it. Every Tuesday, I gotta look at that clip. Everywhere it's posted, every Tuesday of Taco Tuesday. All right, so that is your top 5 most viral LeBron James memes. All right, let's move on to the NFL. The NFL Combine is actually happening right now. It's on the top right TV. I don't think you guys can see it from where you guys are right now. But let's go over some Combine records. All right. Who holds the records for each NFL Combine drill? For the 40-yard dash, you have Xavier Worthy. It was last year, wide receiver from Texas. He ran it a 4.21 second 40-yard dash. That is, we are actually going to do some math here. 40 times, for you Americans, I'll do it, times 3 equals 120. 120 divided by 4.21. He was running at 28 feet a second. That is 10 yards a second. You cannot do that. And there's no running start. It's just the 40-yard dash. That is just incredible. There is no... I'm not... It will eventually be broken. But 4.21 seconds is wild from Xavier Worthy. I mean, that's why it's a record. That's why it's a record. The previous record holder was wide receiver John Ross. He had a 4.22, so by 1/100th of a second, he beat it, and he was drafted 9th overall in 2017. Worthy, a wide receiver, Xavier Worthy now obviously plays for the Chiefs and was in the Super Bowl. Lost the Super Bowl, but was in the Super Bowl. Who has the longest broad jump? That would go to Byron Jones, quarterback from Connecticut, 147 inches. In 2017, Jones recorded a broad jump of 12 feet 3 inches, breaking the world record by 1 inch. He destroyed the previous combine record by 8 inches. Jones was drafted first round, 27th overall to the Cowboys, and then he played 7 seasons in the NFL, and he doesn't play anymore. He retired, 2022, 2021, 2023, something like that. Who has the highest vertical jump? That would go to Gerald Sensabaugh from North Carolina, 46 inches. In 2005, he recorded a 46-inch vertical jump, breaking the record by half an inch. Byron Jones nearly made this list twice, as he came within a half inch of breaking the vertical jump record in 2015. Sensabaugh was drafted in the 5th round, 150 something overall by the Jags, and then he played 8 seasons with the in the NFL. Who has the fastest 3-cone drill? You know, the boom, boom, boom. That would go to Jordan Thomas, quarterback from Oklahoma, 6.28 seconds. In 2018, Thomas ran the 3-cone drill in 6.28 seconds, destroying the previous record of 6.42 seconds held by by a guy from Oregon. Thomas was drafted in the 6th round, 211 overall by the Texans, and then he played 3 seasons in the NFL. Now, I've heard his name somewhere. I think he plays in the UFL or XF, or no, it's the same thing now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays for the UFL right now. And then who has the most reps in the bench press? That would be Stephen Pia, DT, Oregon State, 49 reps. In 2011, Pia broke the bench press record with 49 reps of 225. Now, watching that, I thought that he was going to get at least 55. I thought he had a few more in him when he hit 49. But think about it. A lot of people can't even bench 225. Now, imagine doing that 49 times straight. I mean, wild. How much does he weigh? Let's see how much... Steve. 1 second. I'm gonna look up how much he weighs. Let me. I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Here we go. PAEA. That's how it's spelled. I thought it was. All right. he weighs 300 pounds. So he benched over 2/3 of his weight 49 times in a row. Wild. Just crazy. That's, again, it's eventually going to get broken, but it's hard to do. Who has the record for the 20-yard shuttle? That would go to Donta Robinson, quarterback, South Carolina, 3.75 seconds. It was in 2004. He ran it in 3.75 seconds, a record that has stood for over 2 decades. He was a terrific athlete, becoming the state champion in the long jump in high school, in addition to starring in football and basketball. The Texans drafted him at number 10 overall pick, and he played 10 seasons in the NFL. So those are just some combine records with the combine going on right now. Got to give it to him. What did Connor Colby, O-line, first team all... you guys can't see it. There's no point to talk about it. Travis Hunter in a little bit of, not drama, but saying some wild stuff, especially as so Travis Hunter was asked, who do you think's more impressive? You, obviously a two-way player, or Shohei Ohtani, the greatest two-way player, greatest baseball player of all time? And he said, and I quote, where's the quote? Probably me, and what I do in football is more impressive because it's a lot on your body. Ohtani, he's a great player, but you got to do a lot in football. And that could not be further than the truth. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is... Again, we haven't seen him pitch in a few years, and I'm not optimistic about it now. But he was probably a top 5 pitcher when he was pitching, and definitely a top 5 batter. Probably number 1 or 2 batter. Travis Hunter, you are not the greatest at both of your positions at all. You're just not. Baseball and football, you only play 16 games a season, and baseball, you play 162. I understand that yours is more of a physical sport, but you play 10 times more games playing baseball, and the games are longer, and I just do not agree with Travis Hunter. It's just not true. You're not breaking records like Ohtani. You're not even in the NFL yet. You have not even gone number 1 overall yet, and I'm honestly not even sure if you will, let's be honest. That just kind of made me mad. A little bit of stuff that Travis Hunter said in last week. But the big news: Deebo Samuel is headed to 49ers deal. Deebo Samuel to Commanders, sources say. That was wild. I got the notification last night. Again, I was in Miami. I was like, what? What, it makes sense. All right, whatever. He's been requesting a trade for the 49ers for years now, it seems like. I think he requested a trade officially in 2021. That was his first time. But they traded him to the Commanders, where he's going to do great with Jaden Daniels, but only for a 5th-round pick. That just, maybe I don't know everything about this, but Deebo Samuel is definitely a better wide receiver than a 5th-round pick. It can't be official. It can't be official until March 12th, and the Commanders do have to finish out his contract, Deebo's contract. That's just wild to me. As a Seahawks fan, I'm glad that this happened. But what? Like, why? I don't understand why. I don't understand the trade here. Like, it does not seem fair at all. But yeah, it basically just shocked me. That's about it. Let's move on to my favorite segment, Hall of Fame, yay or nay? All right, Hall of Fame, yay or nay, with the big news. We are going to do Deebo Samuel, and we are going to look up his stats. Deebo Samuel stats. All right, one-time Pro Bowler, one-time All-Pro. He's only played in 81 games in his career. He's led the league in yards per reception only 1 year, 2021. What other awards? Not a whole bunch of other rewards. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's great. He's just not Hall of Fame worthy. He's only been playing since 2019. Hasn't done a whole bunch since. HatTrick Sports Hall of Fame is a very prestigious group of guys, and he's just not there yet. Maybe in the future, but it's a nay for now. Thank you guys for watching the 88th episode of the HatTrick Sports Podcast. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can watch us wherever you listen to podcasts, including YouTube for all the visuals. We'll see you guys next week for episode 89.